Hello everybody, this is Asgroth here bringing you LoD's first raid boss guide for the expansion. Today we will be going over the Halfus Wyrmbreaker fight, covering every detail that you need to know. Your group will need to be comprised of 2 tanks, 3 healers, and any 5 DPS so long as at least 1 can interrupt for the 10-man version, and 7 healers, 2 to 3 tanks, and 15 to 16 DPS depending on which drakes spawn with Halfus during the encounter. This fight is unique in that you'll always get a new combination of 3 drakes to kill during the encounter, which changes weekly, and thus the strategy for the kill order and the release order of these drakes will change. The 5 drakes are the Scion, Slate, Storm, Time Warden, and the Cage of Whelplings. Each of these drakes will give a buff to Halfus or the Proto-Behemoth that will increase damage done to your raid group in some way. For this video, we encounter the Storm Drake, Time Warden, and the Whelpling. The boss has no aggro range, and is pulled by attacking him in any way. Because of this, have your Drake tank start by the first Drake you plan to release as the encounter begins, and have your range and healers spread out around the room while remaining in range of bigger AoE heal abilities. The Proto-Behemoth cannot be tanked, and due to the enraged timer of the boss, cannot be killed, and will periodically do Flame Breath or Fire Barrages on the raid, which will deal more damage depending on which drakes are active, which we will get to later. The 3 drakes in our video give various buffs to AoE damage done to players, and buff on Halfus himself. Because of the heavy AoE damage that occurs until the specific drakes are down, major AoE healer cooldowns are used during the breath from the Proto-Behemoth that need to be planned to use beforehand. Begin the fight by having your tank pull Halfus over to the tank that will be releasing the first drake. The drake is released by simply right-clicking on the drake. The first drake for this setup to kill is the Storm Drake, because he gives the buff to Halfus, which allows him to cast Shadow Nova every 8 seconds, and is a 0.25 second cast, which is nearly impossible to interrupt in this time. Because of this, the Storm Drake is released first, so that the Shadow Nova cast is now a 2-second cast, and can now be interrupted. It is essential for your group's success to have perfect interrupts on the Shadow Nova. One missed interrupt could cause your group to wipe. Throughout the fight until the Time Warden is activated, Fire Barrage will be cast by the Proto-Behemoth. This barrage hits for 20,000 damage and it hits the player for 3 times, and is unavoidable. Players must be topped off as soon as possible. Also during this time, the Proto-Behemoth will cast a Breath on the Rage, which deals about 9,000 damage per second for 8 seconds. Because of this combination, major healer cooldowns must be used to negate this damage. This damage will be lowered significantly later when the remaining 2 drakes are killed. When the Storm Drake reaches around 500,000 health, the Drake tank should activate the Whelplings, which will not become mind controlled for a few seconds, allowing the DPS to finish off the Storm Drake and immediately start on the Whelplings. These should not be AoE down, but rather focus fire. These Whelplings hit very fast and decently hard on your Drake tank, and cooldowns may be needed if he dips low on health. When the Whelplings are released, the breath damage from the Proto-Behemoth is dropped significantly, and major cooldowns, which should be used by now, are no longer needed to keep the group up. From here it is about spot healing barrage damage, and keeping your tanks up. As soon as the last Whelpling is around 20% health, your Drake tank should activate the Time Warden, the 3rd and final Drake. When the Time Warden is released, the Fireball barrage is slowed, so that the players can see exactly where the barrage is going to hit, making them completely avoidable, and from here only minor raid healing is needed for the breath, and a few abilities later on in the fight. After you kill the Time Warden, all DPS should swap to Halfus and begin DPSing. Heroism and cooldown should be used at this time, and healers should also DPS as there is a very short 6-minute Berserk and range timer. However, the boss gains a debuff each time a Drake is killed, causing him to take 50% more damage. After the 3rd Drake is killed, Halfus will be taking 150% more damage from all players. Until 50% health, he is a simple tank and spank. At 50%, he will cast Furious Roar 3 times in a row, which will knock your players down and deal damage. After the 3rd roar, he will always begin casting Shadow Nova, if he had the Storm Drake, this is. You may want to have a repellent bubble during one of the roars to ensure the interrupt goes off. It seems that the first is impossible to get if you don't do this, but the 2nd and 3rd are just barely interruptible. He will cast Furious Roar every 30 seconds after reaching 50%. Continue to DPS the boss normally through this phase, and you should have your kill in no time. The 2 other drakes that can be active during the fight are the Scion and Slate drakes, which each give Halfus unique abilities. The Scion gives the boss 100% attack speed buff, and the Slate Drake gives the boss the ability to stack a 5% MS effect on his current target on successful hit. Because of this, it will require a tank swap throughout the encounter. This boss will provide a new challenge to your raid group each week, as you will have to figure out the best strategy and kill order the drakes to be successful to get the kill. Congratulations on killing Halfus Wyrmbreaker. This was Asgroth bringing you another LoD raid guide. If you want to see other boss guides, make sure to check our channel and website, and feel free to join our blog to participate in our discussions. Both links can be found on the description box below. Also, don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.